G'day and welcome to the channel. My name's Nick and this is Nicktrition. I've been coaching for more than 10 years, and in that 10 years I've been lucky enough to work with A-list actors, professional athletes, but the majority of my clients have been people just like you and me who want to lose weight or gain muscle. Over those 10 years I've come up with a formula called the APCs of dieting. Yes, the APCs, not the ABCs. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a word that begins with B. Before you start the APCs of dieting, you have to make sure that the method you've chosen adheres to nutrition principles. That means if your goal is fat loss, whatever method you've chosen has to put you in a calorie deficit. If your goal is muscle gain, your training and nutrition have to support muscle gain. Without ensuring that your chosen method adheres to nutrition principles, the APCs, no matter how good, won't work. Now, into the good stuff. The A in the APCs of dieting stands for adherence. Not only does the method you've chosen have to adhere to nutrition principles, you also have to adhere to the same principles. That doesn't mean you need to adhere perfectly 100% of the time, but it does mean that more often than not, and to a greater magnitude, you need to adhere to the method you've chosen. No matter how good the diet, if you cannot adhere to it, it is not the diet for you. For example, if you find it hard to not eat certain food groups, a diet that excludes those food groups is probably not one you can adhere to. Remember, it is better to be pretty good most of the time than it is to be perfect only some of the time. The P in the APCs of dieting stands for patience. Patience is super important. If your goal is to lose fat, you might notice that in weeks 1 and 2, the scales seem to go down pretty fast. And after that, they start to level out, they may even fluctuate. You're starting to get into your body fat stores, and the scale can no longer be fully trusted. Yes, over time, you can take scale measurements and look for averages over that time, but in general, a day-to-day scale weight is not indicative of your progress for fat loss. On the flip side, if your goal is to gain muscle, it is a very slow process. If you're new to training and your nutrition and training program are optimized for muscle gain, you can probably expect to gain 5 kilos of muscle in the first year. But the year after that, you can probably expect half that. And half that again the year after that. Until you're about 5 years in, and you can expect to gain maybe half or a quarter of a kilo of muscle per year. Needless to say, whatever your goal when dieting, patience is extremely important. The C in the APCs of dieting stands for consistency. If you can consistently be in a calorie deficit more often and to a greater magnitude than you're not, you will lose body fat. If you can consistently be in a calorie surplus and eat enough protein and have optimal training, then you'll gain muscle. Consistency doesn't mean that you have to be dieting every week until you reach your goal. Consistency means that when you have dedicated periods of dieting, you need to be consistent more often than you're not. I'm pretty sure I said something earlier in the video that made sense here. Remember, it is better to be pretty good most of the time than it is to be perfect only some of the time. And that right there is the APCs of dieting. Adherence, patience, consistency. The 3 biggest things after adhering to nutrition principles that you can do to ensure your success when dieting. If you've made it this far in the video, I did promise you one little bonus. And that bonus is expectation. More often than not, people that don't succeed at dieting have unrealistic expectations of their progress. Maybe they expect to lose weight faster, maybe they expect to gain more muscle in a year. Whatever it is, setting realistic expectations before you commence your diet and reassessing them as you go can be very helpful in ensuring successful dieting, no matter what your goal. And there you have it, the APCs of dieting. Pretty sure there's a song about that, isn't there? If you've made it this far in the video, I want to say a massive thank you, and I really hope you've learned something. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me and what I'm trying to do, please consider subscribing. Until next time, I've been Nick, this has been Nicktrition, I'll see you in the next video.